Yeah, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Rob, host of From My Experience podcast, back with another episode. How y'all doing out there? Are you feeling all right? Are you doing okay? Is everything splendid? Is your life going well? Is your day going well? Huh? I hope that it is, man. We're going to promote positivity once again today, man. The title of this episode, Answer the Questions. We're going to get into a few things today. We're just going to talk about growth and just answering some questions. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get down to it. But how y'all feeling, though? For real, how you feeling? Are you following FME_podcast on Fanbase, on Instagram? Are you in the Facebook group From My Experience podcast? Finalizing the redesign of the logo. So hopefully FMEpodcast.com will be up soon. All right. We're going to get into a couple things today, man. Just a couple little things. You know what I'm saying? Just rock with your boy. Man, I tell you, always something, y'all. I do have headlines today, okay? And I think I'm gonna piss somebody off, but that's okay. It happens. I'm not trying to piss y'all off. I'm really not, man. I can't even. The world is a wild place, man. Here we go. All right, man. In some sad news, you probably heard about this. LaShawn Thompson, he was an inmate at an Atlanta jail who was allegedly eaten to death by bugs, man. So the reason I bring that up is because former NFL quarterback, my fraternity brother, Colin Kaepernick, is going to pay to have an independent re-examination of his body so we can get down to the bottom of some things. For those of you who don't know the story, police arrested Thompson, who was reportedly schizophrenic, on June 12, 2022. This was for a misdemeanor of simple battery, and he was taken to Fulton County Jail, according to Atlanta station WAGA. He was later transferred to the psychiatric wing of the jail. 3 months later, he was found dead in his cell, which one of his family's attorneys said was filthy and not fit for a diseased animal. Records showed this now that the jail officials noticed but ignored Thompson's deteriorating health. Now they're trying to say a report by the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office said Thompson, who was only 35, man, God rest his soul, he had an infestation of small insects on his body, but his cause of death was undetermined. Man, peace, prayers, and blessings to his family. 35, man, and suffering from mental health. And you die like that, man, at 35. I hate to hear about stuff like that, man. I'ma save, yeah, I gotta save this other one for the last. All right. And that was according to BET.com, by the way. Some brighter news on a brighter note. Yeah, go to BET.com. Starting on May 1st, you can vote for the greatest rap crew of all time, yo. The greatest rap crew of all time. So that's gonna be really dope. I'm actually gonna participate in that. I know I don't talk about music that much on here because, yeah, there's just a lot behind that. I just gotta find my groove with hip hop once again. Until then, you know, I'm good over here, you know. Let's see. Let me find this thing. So 32 crews will be chosen to compete for the title of greatest rap crew over the next few days. What's gonna happen is y'all vote, and then they break the crews down into brackets. Now the crew, they're defining as a group of 3 or more people. and they're bound by a common cause that is bigger than the individuals or separate factions involved. So once the crews are voted on, they're going to break them down in the East Coast, Dirty South, West Coast, and Midwest. And then we're going to continue to vote and break it down from there. I think that's going to be pretty dope. So make sure y'all check out BET.com starting on May 1st. What day is May 1st? Oh, that's next Monday. You can start voting on that. All right. Time to get a little controversial. Just a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. Okay. U.S. Now this is according to the Shade Room. U.S. long jumper Tara Davis Woodhull was stripped of her national title after testing positive for cannabis. Tara tested positive for the substance after winning the long jump title with a 6.99 meter jump at the Indoor National Championship in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Her suspension began on March 21st and was shorted after she completed a substance abuse program. Although she completed the program, the USADA still disqualified her from all competitive results obtained on and subsequent to February 17, 2023, including forfeiting any of her medals, points, and prizes. Boy, them comments was spicy. Them things was spicy. So there's two sides to the argument. A lot of people brought up Sha'Carri Richardson. Let me get her name right because I don't want to get flamed. Hold on. Please hold. It is Sha'Carri Richardson. So, she tested positive, and that was a whole thing last year, and now we have this. And man, the comments on Instagram are wild. Some people are like, she got what she deserved. Some people like, that's whack. Marijuana is legal in a bunch of places. Why are we punishing people? Some people like, dang, you ain't learned from the Richardson situation. Like, people is really like flaming her up. My thing is this, yo. Let's be real about it. When you playing someone else's game and they make the rules, you got to play by their rules, point blank period, man. Whether you want to or not, whether you think it's stupid or not. Like, I lived in a state where marijuana was legal, but jobs still drug tested you. And if you had marijuana in your system, you would not get a job. And there are still jobs that will randomly drug test you. And if you fail because of marijuana, you will get fired. So again, if you're playing someone else's game or taking someone else's paycheck or competing in someone else's competition, they tell you can't do it, don't do it. The other thing I found interesting is people keep saying it's not performance enhancing, it's not performance enhancing. And then someone made a good point. They said, well, it's more of a recovery thing. So that's not enhancing your performance, but if you take something that enhances your recovery rate or makes you recover faster, is that fair? What if you're competing against people who are in a location where it's not legal to have marijuana, but you're in a place where it is legal to have marijuana? You use the marijuana to recover. They don't have that available to them to be able to do. Because, athletes train. I hit the gym now. My arms are sore right now from being in the gym. I would love some cannabis to help recover from this sore feeling. But I could see why it's a problem. It may not be an enhancement to make you stronger, faster, better, and all that stuff, but if it helps you recover, that is an advantage. Recovery is very, very, very important. If I'm more relaxed, if I'm less sore, if I'm more fresh than you are, I got a better chance of beating you. I don't know, man. I just think I really wish they would just do away with it, honestly. I do get the point of, if it's legal, just like cigarettes, alcohol, or whatever, then whatever. But, the other side to that is when it starts getting out of control. People showing up high or doing things high. Like, there has to be, like, within the different sectors of society and, like, competition and stuff like that, there still needs to be rules and stuff like that to help level the playing field. So, yeah, my thing is this. They set the rules and you do it and you get punished for it. You broke the rules at the end of the day, So, yeah, just don't do it. Those are your headlines. All right, y'all. So I am not going to keep y'all long today. I really just want to touch on growth. And I'm going to play myself. So this was the positive vibe from this past week. Listen to what I had to say, and we're going to talk about this a little bit.
Rob, hosted From My Experience thing. What up, it's your boy Rob, hosted From My Experience podcast, Ignore My Crash Bed. Yo, don't let other people's comfort level with you stop you from growing. What do I mean? A lot of times when you grow, move forward in life, make changes, people get left behind. It's not always intentional. There are some people that you intentionally leave behind because they just don't meet what you're trying to do, or they just don't align with your energy, or sometimes you're just on two different paths. It might be like, you're traveling, you stop at a rest stop or a gas station. Yes, y'all all meet at this one place to grab some snacks, refill, might have a conversation, might say, oh, where you headed? Then y'all get back on the road, and y'all might be on that same path for a while, but eventually somebody gonna exit. Some of y'all end up going to the same place, but eventually you exit. Some people you end up passing and leaving in the rear view, and maybe they exit, maybe they end up where you are, and there are some people that are gonna pass you, and so on and so forth. Y'all like that analogy, right? I know. Anyway, don't be afraid to grow. And the people who love you and know who you truly are on the inside here, where it really matters, they won't take offense to it. They shouldn't take offense to it, because for me, that's the goal, is to grow. If I was the same Rob I was in college, that'd be a very sad thing. If I was the same Rob I was 5 years ago, to me, that's a very sad thing. If I'm the same Rob I was 2 years ago, that's a very sad thing, because I've had so many new life experiences and situations that there's no reason for me to remain the same. I'm growing, I'm changing, I'm accepting new things into my life. I'm rejecting old things. Some new things I'm rejecting too, because they're not for me, right? And it's okay. It is okay. It's okay to change. And some people are going to laugh at your change and think it's inauthentic and don't believe you and yada, 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 and so on and so forth. And to them, I would say, did you ever believe me in the beginning? Why you feel some type of way that I decided to stop making change? And some changes are extreme. I'm not going to give any examples, but some people make extreme changes because they want to change their life. But at the end of the day, you got to look in the mirror and be happy and accepting of that person, right? Because you got to take care of you. You're responsible for yourself on a daily basis. So what do you want your life to look like? What do you want the people in your life to look like? What type of support system do you want to have? What type of quality of life do you want to have? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? And what are you going to have to do in order to get there? That's what constantly bobbles around up here for me. And if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Problem meaning you're not pushing me forward. You're either keeping me stagnant or you're holding me back. Can't have it. I can't say I want to be a millionaire and buy these houses and cars and have a beautiful wife and yada, 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 but I'm still going to the club, hollering at 50 women, spending money on liquor, not investing, remaining in debt, not prioritizing bills, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Your walk needs to match your talk. Anyway, y'all have a great day. New episode of From My Experience.
All right, so I don't need to advertise because you're listening. But that was the positive vibe of the week, man. And I really meant that, and I really felt that, because one thing that I'm personally noticing is the growth and change of my friends and my relationships. And it's crazy to think about, because the people that are in my life now that I'm close to, I've known for over 10 years or better. Some of them hitting close to 20 years that I went to college with, because we almost almost 40.
I'll be damned.
So
I'll be damned.
We getting there, man. We almost 40. And I love what I'm seeing. But the other thing that I'm starting to notice and see with them is their circles are changing. Some of the people they used to hang out with and deal with, they no longer deal with them. And, I've had conversations with them like, yo, what happened to such and such? Or you don't hang with such and such. And it's not like it's drama or beef, but it's like, hey, I started doing this thing. I met this person. They connected me with this person. We started hanging out. And before you know it, that was just my new squad. And I think people take offense because sometimes they see your growth and they see where you're headed and they want to attach themselves with it. And they're like, oh, bring me with you. We can do this together. Sometimes that does work. And I'm not saying just cut everybody off and say, forget everybody. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it's just not organic. Sometimes people try to force their way, or some people think because, oh, we've had a relationship this long or we've been connected this long that we should do this together. Sometimes that's a great idea, but sometimes it's cool to work with new people. And that, honestly, sometimes it's better to work with new people who aren't as comfortable with you because they tend to respect your boundaries more. That line between business and friendship isn't fuzzy. You're building a new friendship, but it's on the premise of maybe a business venture or something else that y'all are working on together. So they're getting introduced to who you are now versus someone who has known you 10, 15, 20 years. It's hard for them sometimes to see the growth. They sometimes still see you as the person you were 5, 10, 15 years ago. And it's definitely tiring to try to convince or show those people, like, that's not who I am anymore. Like, that's not what I identify as. That's not who I identify as. I've shifted. I've changed. And that goes back to my message. Some people are uncomfortable with that. Like if you were the person that used to get joked on, like Merch. Not even trying to be funny. Like Merch from the Best Man series. People used to they joked on Merch in college and they kept joking on him as an adult. But in the Best Man Holiday, not Holiday, Lord have mercy, the Best Man final chapters, Merch he broke out of that like, yo, like, this is not a game. Like, I'm tired of y'all joking and disrespecting me. Like, that's not who I am. And his friends, it was a little hard for them to accept it. Because they were like, yo, it's Merch. Like, you always been like this. But he's like, that's not who I am anymore. Like, you're trying to treat someone the way you treated them in college when this person has his own school. This dude has a wife. This dude has children. He's not the same guy he was before. Yet and still, you want to keep him in that box because y'all are used to that. You're comfortable with him being that. Because when someone changes and they grow, that means you got to adapt and you got to respect new boundaries. And you might have to adjust and change some things. And people don't like that. Change can be tough for some people. And I think that's a big reason why some people find it easier to make new friends and gravitate towards new people. Because they're not going to hold you to who you were a long time ago. They look at who you are now. And if you don't believe me, take one of your newer friends that you met in the last couple years and bring them around someone that you've known for like 5, 10, 15 years. And compare how they see you. It's wild, man. Like, some people don't even know other sides of me. And it's just because you won't ever give me an opportunity to show you that because you want to have the same conversations or you think I'm the same person I used to be all those years ago. And it's just mundane. It's just not even fun anymore. And it's like, why are we doing this? That's why a lot of people I just don't even really talk to like that. I mean, I don't even talk to a lot of people now because I'm such an introvert. There's a very, very short list. But it just gets tiring, man. And it's okay to change. It's okay to grow. Now, answering the questions. Part of that growth and change means you got to start answering questions on your own. I know I talk about circles and your comfort level and mentors and guidance and all those things. And it is great to have people around that you can go to for advice and support and love and just, pulling on their experience. That's dope. But you have to get to a place where you learn to love yourself and know yourself to a point where you don't have to have those conversations all the time. That is something I learned from my mentor, Corwin Millette. Shout out to Corwin. I'm going to have him on here soon. Actually, he's been on here before when we talked about the Chris Rock Oscar slap. Him and Carl Van weren't here. Speaking of Carl Van, happy birthday, Carl. It is Carl Van's birthday. Y'all go to Pass the Peas app on Instagram and show him some love. Download the app too, man. Pass the Peas app. It's a family keepsake app where you can create collaborative cookbooks and you can record your steps. And it's all about sharing recipes. All about sharing recipes. No distractions about no other crazy stuff. All about sharing recipes. Hop on Pass the Peas app. Do it. Do it now. The link is in the bio. But as I was saying, what I learned from Corwin was, building that confidence and reassurance in yourself and knowing that you're right. You're making the right decision. You're making a good decision. Because I worked with him in the real estate field. He was my broker in charge. I was an agent. And I would double, triple, quadruple check. And I would always email him the stuff and say, hey, can you look over this? Hey, can you look over this? Hey, can you look over this? And after a few months, he was like, hey, I appreciate the fact that you double checking. You check behind yourself and you keep me in the loop. I love that. But bruh, you got this. You got this. You don't need me to look at it. You got this. He told me that one day. You don't need me to look at it. You got this. And he was right. And I know that it feels so good to hear somebody else say, hey, you got it. You're right. That confirmation, that extra boost, that extra, all right, yeah, I got somebody on my side. It feels good and it's reassuring. Some people use it as an escape. Like, hey, well, you said, so if things go wrong, well, you did look at it. But, that's people who don't want to take ownership. But when you start taking ownership of your decisions, making the best decisions for you, become a lot easier and it just feels good. And that confidence is there. After a while, man, I just started just telling them, hey, yo, this is done. 1, 2, 3, 4. I already sent the docs. We good. And I noticed I was more productive and I got more done because I wasn't waiting on him who had his own book of business and his own stuff to do, for one. And two, it built our bond and our relationship up and his trust in me continued to increase because as I did stuff on my own and just updated him and he didn't have to check over it and he saw that transactions were going through and there were no issues, no problems, nobody coming back with nothing crazy, he knew he could trust me with more, therefore he gave me more. People pick up on stuff like that, So embrace your independence. Embrace that self-confidence. Embrace the fact that you can make these decisions. You can make these decisions on your own. I'm not saying cut everybody off. Don't ask for advice. If you feel like you need advice on something, do it. But there's been a lot of times in my life where I've just had to sit down and make decisions. Tough decisions, life-altering decisions. Even after I would have a decision in my mind, made up, boom, I'm doing this. And sometimes I would still talk to somebody else to see what they thought, and I disagreed with them. But instead of going with what they said, I still made the decision I was going to make in the first place. But it was interesting to hear other points of view. I am a advocate of hearing other people out because I don't know everything, and sometimes people have knowledge that I need. But a large amount of the time, I'll say a majority of the time, I make my own decision. I make my own decisions. I don't have to confer with anyone. And that's part of my personal growth journey. And I think that's another reason why some of my relationships have shifted because that requires me to talk less. Like a lot of the times I have deep conversations about what's going on in my life and I'm indecisive or I want someone's opinion. But I started to realize that their opinions, though I value them, it's my life and I got to live with the decisions that I make. And again, there is nothing wrong with seeking advice from others. Please make sure you're going to good, reliable sources. There's nothing wrong with that. But I want to live by the decisions that I make. Now, if it comes to something I don't know about, things like marriage or cars or stocks and stuff like that, stuff I have no idea about, then yeah, I'm definitely going to go to like someone who's qualified so I can gain some knowledge and, get some guided decisions and some help with decision making there. But when it comes to other things in life, like how I feel about something, how I feel about a woman, or how I feel about a friend, or how I feel about a career opportunity, or how I feel about moving somewhere, do I want to move someplace, and all these things, those are decisions that Rob can make on his own. Don't be afraid to grow. Don't be afraid to outgrow people. Don't be afraid to set those healthy boundaries. And don't be afraid to look in the mirror and answer those questions. Where do you want to be? What is it going to take to get there? Who or what is holding you back? What do you need to do differently? What do you need to do better? What do you need to let go of? Where do you need the most help? Answer the questions. You answer the questions. Okay? I want you to answer those questions. Be honest with yourself. Be real with yourself. What can you be doing in those areas to get to that next step to help yourself continue to grow? That's what I want y'all to do. Answer the questions. Have the confidence within yourself. Have the trust within yourself. Have the love within yourself to make these decisions. And I know for some people listening, they're like, yo, this sounds like regular, everyday stuff. But you'd be surprised at how many people out here really just can't make the most simple decisions. Like I've been out with people and hung out with people. I've literally had to just tell them what to order off the menu. Or tell them which store they need to go to buy such and such. Like there's some people who just completely rely on the wits and experience of others. Almost childlike. I don't want to call them childish, but almost childlike. And it's like, yo, it's okay to make a decision and then you regret the decision later or you're not satisfied with that decision. Because just because you ask somebody else and they give you their advice and you do it, you could still get the same result, right? But, you know, they're giving you their perspective and their response is based on their experience and what happened when they made the decision that they made. But you're two different people. You know what I'm saying? If I tell you to order the number one and they got lettuce, tomatoes, and pickles on it and you don't like lettuce, tomatoes, and pickles, what'd you just do? You set yourself up. It's okay. Go look at the menu, make your own decision. You might order the number two that has Swiss cheese and mushrooms on it. I might say, yo, the number two is disgusting. But if I don't like Swiss cheese and mushrooms, then yeah, it's going to sound like a hell of a bad idea to me, right? So that's what I mean by that. Yo, I'm killing it with the analogies. Don't judge me. But that's what I mean by that, man. And, you know, like I said in the positive vibe, you know, we've met at these rest stations in life, at these rest stops in life. We've gathered over very common things. Very common things. We need gas, got to refuel, get something to drink, use the bathroom, stretch our legs, grab some food. You know what I'm saying? Might grab some smokety smoke items out there. You know, we got to stop to refuel and chill. And that's where you run into some people. But you're going to get back on that road. And it's just like life. We all move at a different pace. We all got a different destination. You know what I'm saying? Some people ride with you for a minute. I do that. I like to drive behind the person who's going just above the speed limit. In case a cop sees us, they going to get him instead of me, hopefully. There's some people who take off, man, and you never see him again. Maybe you see him at the next rest stop. Some people are going to be behind you. You're going to pass some people. You know, it's just like a highway. But eventually, you will get off on the exit. And some people may get off on your exit. Some people got off before you. Some people may get off after you. And that's okay. Doesn't make you better or worse than somebody. It's just, hey, we in a different space. We in a different place. We had our time. We had our time. And now maybe it's time to move on. It's time to move on. Move on to something else. It is okay to grow with new people. And it's still okay to hold on to some of those people from your past. There's nothing wrong with that either. But just make sure that whoever it is, new or old, that they are conducive to who you are today. They are accepting of who you are today. They are helping the you of today grow and continue to move forward in hearing you and respecting your opinions and respecting your boundaries and not trying to hold you to the person you were years and years and years ago. They might have to get familiar once again. Y'all might have to relearn each other. You know what I'm saying? I get it. There's the old jokes and the old situations from the past, but it's like, yo, all right, that's 20 years ago. Like 30 years ago. We still talking about that? We're not on that time for time. And it's all good. But I do encourage you to continue to build relationships, continue to grow, continue to learn from others. That's been one of the best things I've ever done is just learn from others, man. And continue to push forward. Look in that mirror and answer those questions, all right? And that's all I got for y'all today, man. Grow. Grow, 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 grow. Grow, grow, grow. Grow. That's the message, man. Grow. Shout out to my brothers, black brothers. I know I have not given y'all message in a couple weeks. My brain has been scattered. But new things are on the horizon for me. I'm gonna get back to my weekly messaging to my kings out there. I got y'all, man. Actually, you know what? Real quick, kings. I'm gonna say this. Hold tight and hold true to the standards that you set for the women you want in your life. I'm gonna leave that right there because I'm gonna have a relationship podcast. I gotta find Troy Spry and a couple other people, man, because these dating streets is getting wild. But anyway, I love y'all. I hope y'all are taking care. I hope you're growing. I hope you are learning. I hope you are empowered. I hope you are enjoying life, living life, loving life. Shout out to my boy Sage Sensei. He'll be next week's special guest talking about his travel life that's coming up, man. I love y'all, man. All right, take care of yourselves physically, mentally, and financially. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.